You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine Combat Veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Oh, let me tell you something. I am so sick of Washington and all its works and all them politicians down there and them congressmen. I'll bet you won't find none of them congressmen signing down their electric blankets tonight. Which if they did, their secretaries would get up and go home.
We gotta do something. Absolutely. You know what we gotta do? Toga party.
Toga! 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 Toga!
I want you to kill every golfer on the course.
Check me if I'm wrong, Sandy, but if I kill all the golfers, they're gonna lock me up and throw away the key.
Hey everybody, it's Friday night and you are here with me, Dan Wright, on Robinson and Wright, and Rick is absent. He has a family thing going on right now, and hopefully he will be joining us in about an hour, and nothing bad. If he does end up joining us, hopefully he will let us all know what's going on. In the meantime, interesting stuff going on today. Speaker Ryan seems he left the White House with his head down and his tail between his legs. This is a situation that I saw coming from the beginning. I think a lot of other people did too. And I won't sit here and say that I feel bad for Speaker Ryan. But at the same time, I don't 100% blame him. What happened today was, to me, inevitable. And I think that it was poor planning on the GOP's part. They literally did not believe that Trump would end up being president. And they sat on it, knowing they could make their promise to get reelected. And then all of a sudden, Trump was elected president, and they were like, oh my God, we have no plan. We have to put something together. That is honestly what I believe. Now, on the other side of things, Trump at least acted like he embraced the plan. So, you know, if he had really come out and said, you know, whether in public or in private, no, I don't like this plan. This is not what we're going to use, which he could have done. And he could have said, come out and said, look, plan isn't ready yet. We're going to move the Obamacare thing on down the road a little bit and move on to something else. I just start to wonder if he's really trying to throw certain people under the bus. That's the point where I feel a little bit sorry for Speaker Ryan. Maybe. Exactly. It's a train wreck is what it is. It's all a train wreck, and here we go. The one thing that the Republicans ran on is a disaster. Complete disaster. I mean, what do you think, Jesse? What's your thoughts on this?
Well, I was wondering if you're even going to tell people I was here, Dan.
Oh, and Jessie is here. She's producing for me, and she's gonna
okay, so
be here
folks,
to lean on, for me to lean on, since about 10 minutes before we started, I found out I was going to be here, just me.
All right.
Hi, Jessie. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Dan. Okay, folks, Rick is taking care of some family issues, as Dan said. Yes, I am here. I am producing, and we're going to see test my political knowledge because, well, you know, Dan, host kitty, and I tend to stay over closer to the Pentagon.
Yes, you do. But I know you've been paying a little bit of attention to this because you have pulled some sound clips.
I'm always doing something for you guys. Now it's a question, and I have to listen to the audio clips.
I'm always complaining to you about what Obamacare has done to me.
Oh yeah, I've heard all that. Trust me. And yes, I do have some opinions. So, all right. I'm wondering, first of all, is Ryan's political career completely over, or is it just going to be one of those things he'll have to regroup? I mean, I'm not sure.
I think he's a smart man.
Oh yeah, he is brilliant.
He's a very, very smart man.
Oh, and by the way, Dan, I got to tell you something. I've been playing around with sound effects, so you're gonna be a guinea pig tonight. I've been sorting out sound effect files.
That's fine. I like sound effects.
I know you do. That's why I figured.
I can't wait till I have my own soundboard.
We're working on it. I'll teach you as soon as you can get here. Dan and I have been trying to get together for a while, but our schedules keep going. Oh, nope, I can't do it this weekend. Nope, I can't do it then. I can't do it. And we've been just running away from each other. So
yeah, we'll get it all together.
So I'm just trying to clear my soundboard because I could tell you what Durbin said about sequestration, or I could play you a sound clip from Mattis Durbin, or I could pour you a cup of coffee, which may not be a bad idea. But yeah, I didn't get a chance. Normally when I'm producing a show, folks, and I'm going to give you just a little bit of inside baseball here, you reset your soundboard with clips that you use for that show. I had 5 minutes notice. And when I left my computer, I just said, okay, I'm going in the other room. I didn't shut anything down, which saved us because I didn't have to restart my computer. Otherwise, I'd have been having quite the interesting conversation of some sort with something or someone. But
well, I mean, to bring everybody even a little bit further, is the text I got back was, thank God you texted me because 20 minutes later I would have been in bed.
Yeah. So it's been one of those weeks. I was planning on kind of chilling out and going to bed early. I feel like he's been manhandling me all week. And that was a gorilla. Almost sounded like a... Huh?
Is that Harambe?
Who knows?
But
anyway, so all right. With
this whole Ryan thing, like I said, he's a smart man. It's not going to ruin his political career. Honestly, I'm not
may
a huge
slow the
fan,
campaign donations.
But he's one of the smarter people out there in the political world right now. It's not going to ruin his career. His life as Speaker of the House may be in very serious jeopardy.
First of all, here's what I think. And I don't think they're going to move to replace him as Speaker immediately. I think while we all know certain people really have no patience for failure, as they've demonstrated on reality TV shows, that if you didn't make the bucks, you were out of there. I think Trump also realizes Yeah, you want to drain the swamp, but you also need somebody that knows something about something, and he was close. Let him work on some other stuff. It's a little easier to sell, get that passed, and then maybe you can take another shot at this. But you're going to have to work quick.
Yeah.
Now, I do have that...
But they can't take another shot at it without sitting back and thinking about it. They need to do what I've said from the beginning of this administration is, I mean, number one, they dropped the ball because they really didn't plan for it because they didn't expect Trump to be president.
Okay.
That's the first thing. But the whole administration is, we need to do it all. We need to do it now. We need to do it right now. It all needs to get done right now. That's not how this works.
That's what they need to do to Obamacare.
That is what they need to do. All they need to do is do away with Obamacare and drop state lines for insurance companies. Bring competition into insurance. That's all they have to do. And I'm an engineer. I'm not a business person. But when you bring in competition, it drops prices. The end. That's how it works. I don't understand what... See, the problem with the government is they don't understand how business works. The one thing I was hoping for with Trump was that maybe it would bring a sense of how business works in, but it doesn't seem to be helping. It doesn't seem to be working.
No, it doesn't. But I will say that at least, and this is going to sound a little weird, at least it's not Hillary and Bill Clinton.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll agree with the lesser of two evils.
I mean, it's still evil by any definition, but I'll take my chances with a businessman who actually at least understands cost, competition, supply and demand.
Well, and then maybe he needs to sit down and put together an Obamacare replacement plan with his people and then present it to Congress.
He might.
Because, now it's, okay, this is gone. We're going to move on to tax reform, which I'm fine with. Maybe he should have concentrated on tax reform first and then worried about Obamacare. I mean, Obamacare's there. It's doing what it's doing. It's not going anywhere. Tax reform would be nice.
Yeah. I could seriously deal with tax reform.
If he had run on tax reform instead of, the whole repealing Obamacare thing, I looked at it like how and why, and nobody could say a word about it. I bet you he could have come off with a lot of stuff on how he wants to reform taxes. All they said was replace or repeal. What does replace and repeal mean? Repeal. Okay, you repeal it, but you can't just repeal something without having things.
Were they planning on sneaking up on it?
Right. You've got to have something, even if it's not a replacement. You have to have something in place to cover fallout from repealing something that big. It's so ill thought out. It just amazes me how horribly our government thinks about things. Our representatives think about things. They don't think about it. They just say what's going to get them elected and then go, all right, now what the hell do we do?
Right, and then you've got the fact that Ryan said it best, and I'm going to play the clip, and I know it's the same one you've probably already heard, but I want to explain a couple of things where I think he's really feeling this.
You've all heard me say this before. Moving from an opposition party to a governing party comes with growing pains, and well, we're feeling those growing pains today.
And guess what, guys? Being an opposition party just means you have to rail against the other side. Being the party in control means you actually have to think it through, and you can't run around in circles, or it comes off like a train wreck.
Exactly. And I just look at it like, for 13 years, I have railed against everything in D.C. Basically, I mean, against the Democrats, against the Republicans, everything. I've said this is all a joke. It's all a country club. I don't care what you say. These people in Congress, they can, and the Senate, they can sit there.
Okay, I think we lost Dan, or he lost his headset. So I think the point he was getting at was that they could sit there and they could keep saying, we don't like this, we don't like that, this is wrong, this is wrong. But until they step up to the plate, once they're in control and they have to step up to the plate, it's not going to be the same. You definitely need a different type of leadership to be more than an opposition party. You need a real plan. Now let me see if I can get Dan back on the line. Anyway, so I think that's the point Dan was making when his phone cut out. Welcome back, Dan.
Yeah, I'm getting my headset set back up again.
So anyway, I explained to them that where I thought the point you were making was being an opposition party is easy. You just have to rail against the other side. You don't actually have to have a plan in place to do anything about it.
No, and it's... and now my headset won't turn back on. This is wonderful. I love Skype. Can I tell everybody out there that
your audio's coming through lousy, so just take a minute, finish your headset. And guys, because of Dan and his headset, we are going to take a commercial break. And we will see you on the other side. Everything is changing. Little Superman falls. Everything is breaking apart now. There's no one to save us all. Superman falls.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine Combat Veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
Everything is changing.
Hey everybody, we're back.
And Dan has gotten his headset working again. Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, the Skype thing is just starting to get on my nerves. we're working on using a
different system.
A different system. So hopefully by next week we will have that different system in place, and I won't fall out halfway through whatever I'm saying 2 or 3 times in a show.
All right. Well, why don't you get back to the rant? I don't think Skype likes your rants. I don't.
Maybe that's it. Are they listening to me? Oh, wow. Is it the Russians? Is it the Russians?
Who knows?
It's crazy. I mean, every once in a while, I'll go an entire show. No problems. Then I'll go a show, and 2-3 times, Skype just drops out. But I can make a phone call on Skype and talk for 2 hours, and it's fine. It drives me nuts. I use Skype all the time to make phone calls.
Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? I never claimed to understand any of this. But I will say, Dan, you are the only person I have this issue with.
So it's just me.
Yeah.
Skype hates me.
So, all right. Now back to what we were saying about politics in D.C. because, well,
my whole thing with politics in D.C. and it's what I was kind of ranting on there is that it's always business as usual. It doesn't matter whether it's the Democrats or the Republicans. It's just business as usual to them. And they really, all they care about is hanging on to their jobs. That's all they care about. They don't care about what they're supposed to care about, and that's representing the people who have put them there. That's not what they care about. They care about hanging on to their nice, cushy job. That's it. The end.
So they care.
That's all they care about.
They care about the money rolling in.
That's what they care about. And, I've said it to Rick before on this show. It's one thing that I really, really respect about Joe Walsh, former congressman. When he got elected, he said, I will serve no more than 2 terms. And I believe that's how everybody should be. And he got elected, he got reelected, and at the end of that term, he did not run. He said, I'm done. I told you I was only going to serve 2 terms. I only served 2 terms. It's something really needs to break in Washington.
Well,
career congressmen and career senators need to go away. There's a really good.
I think
good
Host Doggy
chance,
agrees with you.
Yeah, there's a really good chance that Austin Peterson is going to be running in 2018.
Ooh, is this a little bit of inside baseball?
Well, I mean, it's not that inside. A lot of people know about it. He hasn't officially announced. And part of the reason is because of some business he has and because he really doesn't know what party he wants to run with. He's now looking at the possibility of either the Libertarian Party, which he's a Libertarian, but he's not happy with them right now. The Republicans, which he's really not happy with right now. Or the Federalist Party, which he's looking into. I mean, it's, but I think he has a really good shot if he runs. And that's another person and another outsider. We need more people that are going to shake things up, because, like I said, at the end of the day, they all go get beers together and they're happy. Yes, we have our jobs still. Oh, that was funny. That was funny when you went after me on the floor. That was freaking hilarious. Oh, cheers. Let's have another beer. This one's on me. It's almost. I'll go to the extreme of saying it's sickening to me what is going on.
It really.
We had the chance.
I mean, we control
we had
all
some
three
candidates that really would have stirred stuff up for president.
I mean, I'm sorry. We have the GOP right now has the executive and both houses of Congress. If they can't get
anything done,
a bill through now, I don't want to hear it.
But the bill was a joke.
Yeah.
That's the other problem. Yeah, they can't get it through, but it really, to me, it doesn't matter, because it was replacing something with essentially the same thing.
Lipstick on a pig.
Exactly. You know, here we took the original bill and we did a couple things to it that we wanted to do to it, but essentially it's the original bill. It's awesome. No, it's not awesome. It's not awesome. It's junk, and you didn't have time to do anything. Well, you had 7 years, but you didn't have time between the election and now to put something real together. So you took the original bill and you took a shoe shine chamois and you shoe shined it a little bit and said, here's ours. It's the same thing. It's the same damn thing.
And
it's ridiculous.
It's not what they should have been doing.
No. They should have been, over the last 7 years, putting together something real. But they don't care.
What they should have been
doing. All they care about is hanging on to their job.
Dan, they should have been doing this. Shooting holes in the entire thing and just making it die.
Yep. That's exactly what they should have done. But instead, they schmoozed all of their donors and made sure that they were going to get their job back, and then went, oh, we got reelected. Oh, you mean now we actually have to do what we said we were going to do? No, I'm done with this system. It's over. It's not for the people. It's for themselves. That's all it is. It's for themselves. Almost every last one of them. I will give a pass to very few. I will give a pass to Senator Lee. I will give a pass to Senator Paul. I will give a pass to Senator Cruz. I have a hard time going beyond that.
Okay, can you explain why those three make your give them a break pass?
Yeah, because they all said this was crap. Those are the three that out and out said this is crap.
And the rest of them sounded about like this.
Yeah, I mean, Rand Paul was asking for it weeks and weeks ago.
I remember him running around with his printer.
He created a Twitter account, Rand Paul's Copier, that was running around looking for the plan so he could see it. So he could make copies of it so he could see it. That's how mad he was. He was mad to the point where he actually made a troll account on Twitter.
Did you give him a pass, or did he end up being another one of the? Does he deserve?
No, Rand Paul gets a pass.
Okay.
Rand Paul was against this
because he was trying to copy it
because he couldn't see it. He couldn't see it. Nobody could see it, and when it came out, it was, like you said, a polished turd. That's what it was. And he was right, and he knew it, and it's what they ran on. It is 100%, especially what the Republican Congress ran on, was to repeal Obamacare. Instead, they came up with, let's replace Obamacare with Obamacare. That's what they came up with. Whew. Good job, guys.
And that is just a disaster. It's definitely
complete and total disaster.
A train wreck. All right.
And Rand Paul and Paul Ryan is walking out of the White House with his tail between his legs and his head down and doesn't want to comment to anybody and blah, blah, blah. Well, you wrote it, sir. You wrote it. You knew this was coming.
Hey, Dan.
He's the kid that did his thesis in college the last day he had to do his thesis. That's what he is.
Well, guess what, Dan? I think that leaves us at a good spot to take a commercial break. And we will be back after we pay these bills and see you on the other side.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine combat veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine combat veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
Get your free inventor's information. Call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everything is changing. Superman falls. Everything is breaking apart now. There's no one to save us all. Superman falls.
All right, this is Jesse, and yes, we do still have Dan with us tonight. And we thank you guys for hanging in there with us while we paid those bills. Because, well, everybody needs to pay their bills once in a while, right, Dan?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Me.
Now, you brought up
bills.
A cool point while we were off air that you had not gotten around to before we had to run off to that break.
The other thing that is completely disgusting me over what happened today with the whole bill being pulled is the left, and especially Planned Parenthood, celebrating that now women's health care isn't going to be touched. Really? Is that that's what it's about? I mean, honestly, basically what they're celebrating is the fact that none of our tax dollars are going to be pulled from killing babies. That's what they're celebrating. It totally just disgusts me, the celebration. I mean, that's the only good part of the bill was the fact that it was going to defund Planned Parenthood, who should be able to support themselves on their own. They should.
Well,
100%.
I mean, don't they make their money by selling baby parts anyway?
Right. Yeah. Go sell, that's what you do. You're a bunch of ghouls. It's just a total bunch of ghouls is what they are.
Well, I have what I think you would call one of the chief ghouls. A clip here from Nancy Pelosi taking a victory lap. How's that sound, Dan?
That sounds great.
All right,
I would love to hear Grandma Nancy.
Let's get this all queued up.
It depends on the motivation.
Oh, 1 minute. If the
motivation is spite that they were going to pass this bill yesterday because it was the 7th anniversary of the Affordable Care Act, instead of taking the time to develop legislation to perhaps hear from experts by having hearings, hear from families by having hearings and the rest, and develop something within their caucus, and perhaps in a bipartisan way, hopefully, they might have had a bill that would be successful. Instead, as I said before in this room, they decided to pick a day, and instead of deciding when they had the votes to bring it to the floor. Speaker says that came close. We'll never know. We'll never know. We had a big, long list of no's that we were seeing, and so I don't know how close it would be. But let's not lose any more face for them. They've lost enough today. But the fact is that we have a responsibility always to work in it. But right now, quite frankly, the reason that they lost was because of actions they took or did not take, but it's also because the American people weighed in. Our phone lines were all deluged. I want to thank all the people who expressed themselves to members of Congress, either say thank you for supporting the Affordable Care Act or kill the bill, whomever they were calling. So let's just for a moment breathe a sigh of relief for the American people that the Affordable Care Act was not repealed, which was their goal on the 7th anniversary.
And
yeah. It's more of the same thing.
Isn't it always?
What's that?
Isn't it always more of the same with them?
Yes, it is. And Nancy needs to go. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. And her replacement is just as bad. California, I won't get into California.
The left coast.
I was about to say California just needs to go. I know too many people in California. California is not a bad state. California has 3 major cities that control everything in California. So I'll leave California alone.
Well, I believe in... I'm a little bit dodgy on my politics, but isn't Senator Dianne Feinstein from California?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I wanted to hear.
California, politically, California is a disaster. I mean, it's just a disaster.
Well,
the end.
It's the home of liberals and safe spaces, darling.
Well, it is in 3 cities. If you've ever been out there, believe it or not, a good chunk of California is very red. The problem is that 85% of California's population lives in 3 cities, and that's who votes. California is a fantastic state.
It is a beautiful state. I can agree with that. As far as fantastic, well, the entire government of California, in my mind, needs to go soak its head. Now, the reason I brought up Senator Dianne Feinstein and Pelosi was because they both attacked Gorsuch. And Schumer did quite the number on him, too.
Yes, he did.
So I figured we'd switch topics, Dan, to at least one that I can talk on a little bit better than the healthcare thing, because I did the clips, but I didn't stay up to date. The stuff was coming at such a floodgate rate. I was lucky to get a clip up before there were 15 new ones, darling.
Yeah.
And for those of you who wonder what I'm talking about, behind the scenes, we have a special webpage for our hosts that's filled with audio clips, so they don't have to go finding them on their own. I'm one of the people that maintains that board. So I'm listening to the White House press conferences, and I'm trolling C-SPAN, and I'm over on DVids, and so, but no sooner would I get an audio clip up, and there were 10 more that I needed to get up in the past couple of days, Dan. I've been drowning in audio. I couldn't keep up.
Oh, I can imagine. The last couple of days have been pretty intense. And yes, Gorsuch.
Now, here's my favorite clip. I've got 2 clips I'm going to play. Well, actually, we're going to start with this one. And this was Senator Schumer talking about the current administration. And I'm just prepared for the rant you're going to have after you hear this clip.
It is so clear that at this moment in our history, our democracy requires a judge who is willing to rule against this president. This administration seems to have little regard for the rule of law and is likely to test the Constitution in ways it hasn't been challenged in decades. It's absolutely the case that this Supreme Court will be tried in ways that few courts have been tested since the earliest days of the Republic, when constitutional questions abounded.
Wow.
And that was Senator Schumer.
But did he say any of that while Obama was shredding the Constitution?
I couldn't find where he did, and I actually looked. This rolls back to what I was saying before. It's business as usual. It's you don't have anybody's well-being at heart because you don't agree with me. Well,
yet we need to help each other stay here. That's it. This is Washington business as usual right here. Now, we have a pick to fill the empty seat on the Supreme Court that is way beyond qualified. He's very qualified for it, and they are going to try to block him because they don't agree with his leanings. Well, you know what? It really kind of, he's not that extreme. You're going to use your filibuster right now to filibuster the guy that really isn't that extreme. I think he's a perfect pick. I think he is right-leaning, but he is open-minded. He's incredibly smart. He's incredibly schooled, and I think he's the perfect pick.
Well, I've got a couple.
What are they going? What are we going to go through 4 years of an empty seat on the Supreme Court. You know, they complain, well, you wouldn't even hear Obama's pick. Well, you know what? He was a lame duck president. We had control. He was a lame duck president. I say we. I don't even include myself in we, but I'm just saying we. We had control. That's the way it works. That's the way it's always worked through history. That's what happens. The end. Live with it. Deal with it. You would have done the same thing. That's where the problem lies. And I'm not saying it just lies with the Democrats. It lies with the Republicans. If the roles were reversed, it would have been the same thing. That's the problem. It's complete and total shutdown in D.C. It's complete and total shutdown.
Well, Dan, you know what I'd like to do? For those people who didn't have time to cover listen to the hearings, and they just heard some of the more popular audio clips, I've got some of the ones that weren't played that much. I'd like to go through a couple of Gorsuch ones, and then we'll start in with, and then I'll let you comment on that, because it gives you some insight into the man himself. And then I've got some I'd like to play, a politician, and then a Gorsuch clip.
All right.
All right. Well, these clips were taken from the first day of the hearings, and I thought it's where Gorsuch showed his personality and what kind of man he is the most.
I also had the great fortune to clerk for Justice Kennedy. He showed me that judges can disagree without being disagreeable, that everyone who comes to court deserves respect, that a case isn't just a number or a name, but a life's story and a human being with equal dignity to my own.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is good.
Oh, there's more. There's 2 decisions of Trump's so far that I have zero issue in supporting. Gorsuch and Mattis.
I'm right there with you on that.
All right, I've got another one.
My dad's father made his way through college working on Denver's trolley cars. He practiced law through the Great Depression. And he taught me that lawyers exist to help people with their problems, not the other way around.
And then he went on to explain his opinion of the difference between a judge and a lawyer.
Finally, there's Justice Jackson. He wrote so clearly that everyone could understand his decisions. He never hid behind legal jargon. And while he was a famously fierce advocate for his client when he was a lawyer, he reminded us that when you become a judge, you fiercely defend only one client, the law.
What do you think?
That's exactly how a judge should think.
Okay, it gets better. It gets better.
As Alexander Hamilton said, liberty can have nothing to fear from judges who apply the law, but liberty has everything to fear if judges try to legislate too.
Yeah. Well,
and
there you go.
And the mainstream media didn't use these clips, so unless you were haunting C-SPAN, you didn't hear this. Now, I've got one more, and he references this clip, and this was my favorite. Oh, I've got two more.
Mr. Chairman, these days we sometimes hear judges cynically described as politicians in robes, seeking to enforce their own politics rather than striving to apply the law impartially. But if I thought that were true, I'd hang up the robe.
I like that one. My all-time...
That's a great clip.
Here's my all-time favorite Gorsuch clip. All-time favorite.
I found myself walking through the old Granary burial ground in Boston. It's where Paul Revere, John Hancock, and many of our founders are buried. And there I came across the tombstone of a lawyer and judge who today is largely forgotten, as we're all destined to be soon enough. His name was Increase Sumner, and written onto his tombstone over 200 years ago was this description of the man. As a lawyer, he was faithful and able. As a judge, patient, impartial, decisive. In private life, he was affectionate and mild. In public life, he was dignified and firm. Party feuds were allayed by the correctness of his conduct. Calumny was silenced by the weight of his virtues, and rancor softened by the amenity of his manners. Mr. Chairman, those words stick with me. I keep them on my desk. They serve for me as a daily reminder of the law's integrity, that a useful life can be led in its service with the hard work it takes, and an encouragement to good habits when I fail and when I falter. At the end of it all, I could ask for nothing more than to be described as he was. And if confirmed, I pledge to you that I will do everything in my power to be that man.
Wow.
Now you see why I because I had to do so many clips of him, I felt like I got to know him. I really did. Now, not everybody liked him. So, I have a clip, and I know this one's been used by the lamestream media, but here's Senator Feinstein and Gorsuch engaged in a discussion, sort of?
Do you agree with that statement, that under the Second Amendment, weapons that are most useful in military service, M16 rifles and the like, may be banned?
Senator Heller makes clear the standard that we judges are supposed to apply. The question is whether it's a gun in common use for self-defense, and that may be subject to reasonable regulation. That's the test, as I understand it. There's lots of ongoing litigation about which weapons qualify under those standards, and I can't prejudge that litigation.
No, I'm just asking you, do you agree with his statement, yes or no?
Are the statements out of the Heller decision from the United States?
Justice Scalia's statement.
Well, whatever's in Heller is the law, and I follow the law. Well, it's not a matter of agreeing or disagreeing, Senator, respectfully. It's a matter of it being the law. And my job is to apply and enforce the law.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, shot her down, didn't he?
Oh, well, here's
where number one with her statement. What state is it legal to buy and own an M16? I would like to know that. That would be a first question for the good senator. Where is it that I can buy and own an M16? Because I want to move there.
True. You and I are both concealed carry permit holders, Dan. So we are both very strong Second Amendment people. And I have to admit, I think that's the state I'd like to retire in.
Yeah. I would love the good senator to show me where I can go and legally own an M16.
I'm wondering if she was confusing M16 with AR-15.
She must have been.
Now, Dan, I'm going to test your gun knowledge just a little bit because I can't remember this fact. The AR in front of AR-15 does not stand for assault rifle. Do you remember?
No, it does not.
What does it stand for?
It stands for Armor Light Rifle.
Thank you. I knew you'd know this one, and I'm sitting here and I'm just going, I'm drawing a blank, I'm drawing a blank, I'm drawing a blank.
The original manufacturer of the AR-15 was Armalite, and AR-15 stands for Armalite. Armalite produced the original M16. They came out with a civilian version, which is not fully automatic, resembles the rifle, looks
cosmetic.
like. I have a Marlin 60, which does not have a removable magazine, but does hold plenty of rounds. It fires just like an AR-15. Everybody looks at it and goes, oh, that's a cute little squirrel hunting rifle. I can do just as much damage, well, almost as much damage, with my Marlin 60 as I could with an AR-15.
Now, for those who are listening who aren't gun nuts, we've explained that AR-15 is a rifle. But
it's a rifle. It shoots. It fires.
What's the Marlin?
If the designation is actually AR-15, it fires either a 5.56 or a 223 round. It fires it one round per trigger pull. So you pull the trigger, it fires. You pull the trigger, it fires. It reloads itself upon firing. So as you fire, it draws out of the magazine. Just like my little 380 Walther PPK.
Now, whoa. For those who aren't gun aficionados, a Walther 380 PPK is a handgun?
It's a handgun.
It's a semi-automatic handgun.
If anybody has ever seen a James Bond movie, it's exactly what he carries.
Cool.
Yeah. And that's my concealed carry weapon. And
I happen to have a Glock myself.
My AR-15 fires at the same rate as my little Walther PPK.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
what's the big deal?
All right, Dan, I didn't tell you, but we got a surprise.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Sounded like somebody joined the conversation, maybe.
Rick, you there?
But our shenanigans are cheeky and fun.
Yes, I'm here.
Cool.
How you doing, sir?
I feel a little older today than I did last night.
Would you like to tell the listeners why? Because we
why
alluded
would
that
that
you had
be?
some good news, but we weren't sure if we were allowed to announce it.
Oh yeah, I actually told Dan you guys could announce while I was headed back home. So anyway,
I left it to you, sir.
I am officially a grandpa for the second time over. I have a new grandson named Cody Stephen, and he is about 36 hours old at this point, weighed 5 pounds, 14 ounces, and 19 3/4 long.
And mom and baby are both doing fine?
Yes.
Awesome. Congratulations, sir.
So what have you guys been talking about while I've been off basking in the glow of newborn baby?
Well, we've been talking about healthcare. And why wouldn't we be talking about healthcare? That's pretty much been most of the show so far. And
we were just getting on to Gorsuch, and healthcare kind of sounded like this, Rick.
Yeah, well, I only have one thing to say. Healthcare may have sounded like it fell apart, but Freedom Caucus stood up like a boss. They kind of sounded a bit like...
We've made too many compromises already. Too many retreats. Not again. The line must be drawn here. This far, no farther.
Just saying.
No, you are 100% correct.
Rick, you got the better soundboard. I'll admit that every day. In fact, I gotta steal some of those. You're gonna have to send me a file with some of that noise.
Man! Don't worry. Just don't too much.
Careful, Dan. We'll get into dueling soundboards and nobody will get in a word in edgewise.
Hey, we just do the soundboard show.
No. See, now you're starting to sound like Stacy when she was with JD. She's always like, "Are we going to do a show, or are you just going to have a love affair with your soundboard?" He's like, "What?"
Well, anyway, so then after we came back, we did that mostly before the commercial break. Then we took a commercial break, and we probably are due for another one. I've lost track of time tonight.
Yeah, you're only about 15 minutes into the time.
Well, we did one at 15 before. So
okay. So, yeah, then you're about due again.
All right, so why don't we go to commercial break and we'll fill Rick in on the Gorsuch stuff we've been covering, and we'll be back after we pay them bills.
Everything is changing. Superman falls. Everything is breaking apart now. There's one to save us all. Superman falls.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine combat veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 8687.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everything is changing. Superman falls. Everything is breaking. One to save us all. Superman falls.
Hot. Well, it looks like nobody wants to talk and bring us back from break, right, Grandpa?
Well, the problem is you do breaks a little different than I do. I always let the music play so we can naturally tell when it's time to start talking again. And I couldn't hear when you were trying to count us down because it sounded weird on my end. But anyway, welcome back, folks. We're back, and I've missed most of my show because I've been off basking in the glow of my newborn grandson. So how is everybody this Friday evening while we watched the GOP replacement for Obamacare blow up as it deserves to, and now I think they have moved on and changed topics to Gorsuch. So we have lots of talk about, so I'll let them get back to what they were talking about before I interrupted them.
Oh, I'm happy to have you, Rick, because...
We actually, I mean, what we ended with there before you showed up, and I'm glad you did, was Senator Feinstein grilling Gorsuch on ownership of M16s.
Yeah, because you can just go to any corner pawn shop and buy an M16.
Right. Yeah. And what I said was I want to know what state that is.
Me too, because
I want to move there. I want to move there. I want to move to the state that allows me to, without a certain rated FFL, own an M16. Now, I know in Texas, the laws are a little lenient. You can get an FFL a little bit easier in Texas and buy semi-automatic weapons and explosives and blow things up and shoot things. But it takes a lot of work and a lot of money to do that.
This is pretty much
these senators, these left-wing senators and Congress people, they want to make everybody think that you or I could just walk into a gun store off the street and buy a full automatic weapon. That's what they make people think. And it's just not that way. I mean, I have to go through a background check to get a home defense 12-gauge shotgun.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
Dueling soundboards. All right, so anyway.
Yes,
it's one of those things where you have to wonder where they get their talking points and why they keep regurgitating the same ones over and over again when they realize they don't stick in the first place. Because everyone with half a brain knows you can't walk to a corner pawn shop or a gun store and buy an M16. But that doesn't stop them from saying it over and over and over again. And it doesn't stop them from portraying something like an AR-15 as an automatic weapon when in all reality it is not. And if you have made it into an automatic weapon, you have committed a felony. Because it is possible to do, but it is not legal to do.
Well, actually, there are some parts for the AR-15 that can be legally owned if they were manufactured prior to like 1980, but you try getting one of those out of somebody's clutches.
Well, yeah, and
practical purposes, I'm just saying.
I'll put it this way. I won't say it's impossible.
I made the point earlier that I have small game hunting rifles that fire the same way that an AR-15 does. But everybody would look at that rifle and go, oh, that's an innocent.
Anyway, Rick, I gotta say, no one's happier than I am that you're back on your show. Because do you know how much I keep up with the politics, even though I help maintain the audio clips board?
Yeah, I know. You give me the spiel every time you have to sit on one of my shows. You're like, this is not international news. I don't want to do this.
Well,
I get it.
That's why I flipped over to Gorsuch, because that's at least something I'd followed. So, while we're waiting for Dan to sort out a technical issue on his end, I have a clip from Senator Senator Graham talking about Senator Pelosi. I was looking at a Schumer clip and had my mouse on a Graham clip. I'll get there yet. So, this is Senator Graham quoting Congresswoman Pelosi.
This is what Democratic leader in the House said about you. Neil Gorsuch is a very hostile point and a very bad decision, well outside the mainstream of American legal thought. If you breathe air, drink water, eat food, take medicine, or in any other way interact with the courts, this is a very bad decision. I want to ask you to respond to what I think is complete, absolute political garbage. And statements like that were also directed against Justice Sotomayor and Kagan. I remember Sotomayor being called a racist because she gave a speech that was edgy. I remember Elena Kagan being called unpatriotic because she was involved in the decision at Harvard to kick the ROTC unit off the campus. And the reason I didn't buy one was a racist and the other was unpatriotic is because I took the time to look at the way they lived their lives, and I listened to what people had to say who had interacted with them all their lives.
Okay. Yeah?
Well, it seemed it kind of abruptly ended, and I keep hearing Dan try to get back in, and then he keeps dropping off again, so I'm not sure if he's still here.
I'm not sure if he's here or not. Dan?
I see him, and he's trying to talk, but nothing's happening.
Speakerphone.
Dan, that sounds lousy. We can barely understand you, sweetheart.
Yeah, I know. Because the headset's dead, and I'm on speakerphone.
How about just taking it off speaker and holding the phone?
That might work.
All right, I'm here.
Much better. Much better, darling.
For you. Much better for you.
Well, it's also better for the listeners.
Listening. Because you don't sound like miles away anymore.
Yeah, 1,000 miles away at the bottom of a tin can.
This is getting old. So, Rick, next week we start with something other than Skype, right?
Actually, I was under the assumption that I was going to be figuring out how to get into that tonight with you guys already on the air. But actually, I have that. We have something worked out, and I have another idea that I was going to talk to you about after air, because I just realized that since we fixed the other problem, we have that conference call line that we were going to use to take callers. We could actually just use that and get away from the entire mess, and then just have an open line for people to call in at the same time.
That sounds like a fantastic idea.
Because, yeah, that'll hold up the 10 people, so we could actually have a pretty good group conversation if we really, really wanted to. Not that I would ever let it get that big, mind you, but because then it would be really Anyway, so, yeah. What? Okay. That deserves this one.
What the hell is that?
Because I don't know what that just was. Anyway, so we were trying to play some audio, but then Dan kept cutting.
I heard a good bit of it.
Yeah, I only got bits and pieces, but from what it sounded like there was a certain Republican who I don't much care for who tried to sound like he suddenly grew a pair, and I'm not sure I buy it.
Well, it was Graham basically trying to say that Pelosi was calling Gorsuch a hostile appointment for everybody.
Yeah, well, this is what Graham sounds like in the morning when he's trying to get ready to decide that he's going to go, whether he's going to go play on the Senate floor or not.
Because I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me.
So, I'm not impressed by the man. So he can try to talk tough all he wants now that they're the controlling power, but he is not had a spine for the last 8 years, so he can quit pretending that he's suddenly grown one.
Well, then we're going to move on to Senator Schumer and what he thinks we should do if Gorsuch can't get 60 votes.
I say if this nominee cannot earn 60 votes, a bar met by each of President Obama's nominees and George Bush's last two nominees, the answer isn't to change the rules, it's to change the nominee.
We weren't the ones that changed the rules, jackass. Your side did, so shut up.
I have to say,
Schumer is one that he's literally the male Pelosi is what he is.
Well,
if you listen to him talk and you listen to how he puts his points forward, I wonder if they're actually the same person.
I was going to say, are you sure he's not just the gender-confused Pelosi? Because, it's kind of sexist to call people male and female now.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
I got to say one thing.
What's that?
About the statement Schumer made. I agree with part of it. I don't want the Senate to change the rules any further than they've already been mutilated. I want the senators to freaking figure out how to get things done and get along and stop causing roadblocks, which I know is wishful thinking. I know. I read something on my show today, and I'll let you guys react to this. There are supposed to be a total of 54 presidential appointees at the Pentagon. Would either of you like to hazard a guess as to how many are there from the Trump's administration?
If not zero, very close to it.
I would say 10 or less.
1! Mattis!
Well, to be fair, he had others appointed. They've slowly been being removed.
So, but specifically for the Department of Defense, there's supposed to be 54, including Mattis.
I missed the Department of Defense part, so yeah, I guess we have 1 out of 54. Nice.
Yeah. Just shows how much of a roadblock the Democrats are being. And correct me if I'm wrong, Rick. The Republicans weren't thrilled that Obama won. Not by a mile. But they also understood that the president needed the staff that he had appointed in order to at least attempt to run the country. And
well, yeah, I mean, the Republicans, when Obama was elected, they went out of their way to actually start trying to work with him at first. And they basically changed their mind when they were called into a closed-door session, and Obama basically put his feet up on the desk, propped his hands behind his head, and said, hey, elections have consequences, I won, deal with it. Because the Republicans went their hat in hand, following along with what he said in his speech, and said, hey, we're willing to work with you, these are some of our ideas, and he basically told them to F off because he won and they were just going to have to deal with it. So that's a problem.
All right. Rick?
Hey, I'm back, Dan.
I know, Dan, you are. I want to take just a 1-minute commercial break because I want to switch something up real quick. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine combat veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine combat veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
And we are back.
All right, folks, I think we may have finally gotten the gremlins under control. So for at least the last few minutes of the show, we shouldn't have Dan entering and leaving repeatedly because Skype still hates everyone everywhere. I'm really starting to think, I think the reason they called it Skype is because eventually they're going to change the name to Skynet. And they just wanted it to be as close as possible and thought maybe nobody would notice. Because that stupid computer program hates every single one of us. Anyway, okay, bad joke. We're moving on. So where were we before the gremlins hit again?
I think Gorsuch.
Dan, go ahead.
Well, no, we were talking Gorsuch, and I'm not really sure because I panicked again.
I'll tell you what, you guys have 15 to 20 minutes left in your show. I'm going to sit here and quietly produce and let you two do your thing without my interruptions. Translation, Jesse's tired of trying to talk politics.
There's my Hallelujah chorus theme. So anyway, no, I want to again thank you, Jess, for stepping in last minute because I didn't actually plan on being out as late as I was today. So thank you for stepping in, even though this isn't your cup of tea. All right, so anyway, we've kind of been all over the map. I'm going to say basically at this point we're going to do the last 15 minutes or so kind of dealer's choice. So I'm going to back up a second because I didn't really get to talk about this much. This whole AHCA thing, can I just say, as a conservative and as someone who used to idolize the Republican Party because I grew up in the era of Reagan, I am glad the damn thing imploded. I'm just going to say it. I'm glad it failed because it was a turd. It was a turd that they tried to polish and tell us it wasn't a turd, and it was still a turd. And now we have Sean Hannity coming out and absolving Trump of any culpability in the fact that this thing failed when he wanted it just as bad as everybody's calling Ryan a rhino because he was pushing this plan. No, it wasn't him pushing this plan. It was effing Trump pushing this plan. And I'm glad it imploded because, yes, the Democrats are getting to take a victory lap, but let them have their victory lap because what a lot of them already know and they're not talking about is now that we're going to be stuck with Obamacare for a little bit longer at least, it's about to explode. We were about to take an albatross from around the Democrats' necks and put it squarely on the necks of the Republicans. It needs to stay on the neck of the Democrats until it explodes, and then we can figure out how to clean up the mess. Because they made the mess. We've been trying to clean it up. Nobody wants to clean it up because it's become an entitlement program, so we're not willing to do what we need to do to fix it. So let it explode, and then we'll figure out what we got to do afterwards. Pretty simple in my book.
Yeah, absolutely. And listening, watching, we touched on it earlier before you came on, touching on watching Brian walk out of the White House with his tail between his legs and his head down and not wanting to talk to the press and just being totally dejected. Well, you know what? It's exactly what you said, Rick. They literally took Obamacare and took a chamois and went over it a couple times and said, here you go, it's all fixed. It's not all fixed. They dragged their feet for 7 years. Trump got elected in this past fall, and they went, oops, now we're stuck. I didn't think he was going to get elected. Now we have to come up with something. And what they came up with was, let's take what's already there and let's make a couple little changes to it. And it's perfect.
Well, no, it's not. Literally, let's talk about what they actually did, though. Because really, about the only thing they did was they took the ACA, They changed it to the AHCA and suddenly said, "Ta-da! We fixed it! Yay!" And they didn't fix a damn thing.
That's right. We added a letter and took away funding to Planned Parenthood.
They really did.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, what we talked about earlier was, I mean, it's just business as usual with the Uniparty. That's what it is. They all go on the floor and argue with each other. Blah blah blah. We're arguing. We're making it sound good. Okay, let's go get a beer. That's how Washington works, and it has to stop. It just has to stop. It has to end. It needs a shakeup. Where that shakeup's going to come from, who knows?
Everybody knows Chucky Schumer does not drink a beer. He's somewhere off in a corner drinking the frou-frou drink with the umbrella in it. It's not a beer.
Okay. Well, they all go get a drink. How's that? They all go get a drink, and whoever won for the day goes, "Drinks on me," and they all sit down, and they're all, I'm not going to sit here and say they're best buddies, but this is how Washington works. I lived there. There's the bars. The bars when you live there. The bars where if you want to go see senators and congressmen, the bars to go to. You want to go see them. Who wants to go see them? I was more busy when I was in D.C. going and seeing good music. I didn't want to see those people. But you knew where to go see them because they go to the same bars every night. They sit there on the floor. They bash each other. It's like sport. It's like two football teams playing each other. And then the game's over and they go, "Cool, let's go get a beer." That's what D.C. is. They all
honestly,
have their jobs.
I think
they
that's
all
more
keep
what
their
DC used to
jobs,
be, and that was actually when they could still manage to get things done. I don't think they do that as much as they used to, because that was actually something that Reagan pointed out during his time in office when he was at odds with Tip O'Neill. From 8 to 5, they were enemies, and they would do everything they could to push their party's ideals. But at the end of the day, they could go sit down, have a drink somewhere, and have a serious conversation. I don't think the parties do that anymore. I really don't, because they don't have any civility towards one another anymore. They will to a point, and some of the more senior members, like the guys that we're talking about right now, I'm sure they still do those things. But the junior folks that are there now, they can't stand their counterparts on the other side. They don't like them at all. I've actually been in areas where I've heard them talking about each other when they didn't think anybody was listening, and they cannot stand one another. I think we have lost so much of our civility when it comes to politics, because I didn't necessarily have an issue. Now, with the media, it's a different thing, because that was one of the things that used to drive Glenn Beck crazy when he was on Fox News. It's one of the reasons why he left, and even from CNN, because these people that would pretend they couldn't stand each other for ratings would go out and get a beer afterwards. And he's like, you know what? If you guys are going to be that fake, then I'm not sure I can keep doing this. The politicians weren't doing it for the sake of ratings. It was just something that they understood. But at the end of the day, they still tried to get along. They literally cannot stand each other anymore. Even the people within our own party can't stand each other anymore. They're ready to pull out knives and start stabbing each other in the back because they didn't get this turd passed. I've literally heard people start talking about the Freedom Caucus like they're not the most conservative group in Congress, and they're a minority, and they need to be basically cut out like a cancer because they didn't let the Obamacare light pass today. And
that's the whole thing. It's there. It just drives me nuts. They can't. I almost lost my train of thought. I'm so mad that I'm so mad at this bill that. The fact that it didn't pass, it's like you've got all of these way crazy Trump supporters that are actually like they act like, well, Trump supported it because, you know, it was kind of a good bill. And then you got these other Trump supporters that are like, yay, it didn't pass because Ryan stinks. And we literally have, the right is literally splintering again. There's like 4 different segments of the right now. And I'm like, what is going on? Why can't we all just agree that the bill was a turd and move on? Why can't we all just agree on that? I say we, and I don't even identify with anything, but we're literally just saying, in 2018, we're just going to give the House and Senate back, let them have it.
Well, and I mean that's part of what the full-on conservatives really started getting kind of concerned about this stuff, because let's not forget all the things that Trump said he was going to do to repeal the Obamacare stuff within its first 100 days. And then it became, well, we're going to do this part of it now, and then we're going to do this part of it over here that would really fix things. We're going to save that till phase 3, and that's not expected till sometime between 2019 and 2020. How the hell do you guys even know you're still going to be able to do anything by 2019, 2020? Why are you waiting to do the one thing that would honestly help fix some of this mess? Because, look, I know only about 2 or 3 people from the House and the Senate actually listen to the show, but I'm hoping that maybe they're listening right now, because I have a way to fix this mess. It's pretty simple. You allow insurance to be purchased across state lines. That will immediately start sparking competition, which will lower the prices of insurance. Now, if you want to lower the prices of actual medical care, there's another really easy way to fix that. Start making the doctors and the hospitals actually show people the pricing plans. Because if you look, because you can find the information. They do not make it readily available, but you can find it. You can find hospitals within 15 to 20 miles of each other where one procedure is $3,000 and the same hospital 10 miles away is charging $20,000 for the exact same procedure. If we would actually bring the American consumer back to the front of the healthcare fiasco, it would all get fixed. Because if we actually knew what we were supposed to be paying for this crap, nobody would stand for it. But we don't know, because we pay these deductibles and we pay these copays, and then the insurance companies argue and piss and moan with the healthcare providers until they settle for a lesser amount, which eventually causes the prices to go up anyway, because then they try to recoup the losses on that from the next 5 people they deal with. So it's pretty easy. If you want to fix the healthcare system, fix the insurance problem first, then make sure everybody understands what they're paying for. Second, competition will take care of the rest. It's pretty simple. But it's never going to happen because the government doesn't want problems fixed. Because if the government actually fixed the problems, we wouldn't need the government anymore, and they don't want to put themselves out of business.
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head right there. It's wash each other's hands. It's Washington business as usual.
Brother. They might be using hands to wash stuff, but I don't think it's the hands that are washing. I'm just saying.
But it's Washington business as usual. It's all it is, you know. And with the whole, you know, Trump's going to come in and drain the swamp. I don't totally hold it against him because he's not getting a lot of cooperation. But the swamp isn't getting drained. It's just getting recycled.
You know, it's one of the things that I've said for a long time. The only thing that honestly changes when there is a political shift in D.C. is where the money goes. Because when the Democrats are in power, most of their money goes to their special interest groups. When the Republicans are in power, all of a sudden the Democratic special interest group spigots dry up and the Republican special interest group spigots open up, and those folks start getting money. That's the problem. Nothing actually ever changes in D.C. because they can't let it change. This is proof of that right here, right now, because they told us for nearly 8 years, give us the House, we'll fix Obamacare. That didn't work. Give us the Senate, we'll fix Obamacare. Okay, that didn't work. But you can see that we've tried to repeal it 4 million times and couldn't get anywhere because we don't have the presidency. Now we have the presidency. Give us all these things, we'll fix it, we'll make it go away, it'll be gone, you won't have to worry about it anymore. Oh, well, no, now we've decided that, there are some things about this that actually we like and we think you guys like. And so now we need to keep some of it. I know that's not what we ran on, but that's what we need to do. and I'm tired of it. I am honestly really, really glad that the entire Republican Party fell squarely on their face today. I really, really don't like the fact that it was the Democrats.
You know what I heard the other day?
Tying their laces together.
Do you know what I heard the other day? From a Republican representative. Do you know what I heard the other day?
What's that?
If you want to keep your doctor, you can keep your doctor. If you want to keep your plan, you can keep your plan. Exact freaking quote. Where have you heard that before?
Well, that doesn't surprise me either, because all they really did was recycle Obamacare, fix up a couple things around the edges, throw an extra letter in the middle of it, and go, "Ha, we fixed it! Yay!" I know I said that earlier, but it's a phrase that's been running through my head all day long. We're almost out of time, but I want to touch on one other thing that absolutely drove me crazy today. Because if you want to watch the dichotomy of the Republican Party right now, please go find Newt Gingrich's Twitter account, because you'll notice that at I think it was about 7-something this morning, he was touting the fact that they were about to hold a vote and repeal and replace Obamacare, and how it was Trump's crowning achievement, what he said he was going to do, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Of course, he didn't put it exactly that way because you can't fit that in 149 characters or whatever the heck the Twitter limit is. But then not 12 hours later, when he realized it wasn't going to happen, why would you as the Republicans put all your time and energy into trying to pass something that only had 17% approval ratings? Where was this Newt Gingrich 12 hours ago? I'm so tired of the fair weather Republicans that basically they go whichever way the wind blows. If you're going to stand up for something, then by God, stand up for something. And if you're wrong, own up to it. That's all we're asking you to do as the American public. We don't expect you to be right 100% of the time, but we expect you, if you're going to take a stand, to actually take a stand. By God, you told us if we gave you the House, the Senate, and the White House, you would make this monstrosity go away. You didn't say you were going to take Dracula, swap it out for Frankenstein. You said you were going to kill it. So by God, you better kill it with fire. I don't want to replace anymore. I want a repeal. And then once it's gone, we can figure out ways to fix things that don't require 5,555 million pages of freaking legislation. It's pretty simple to fix. You can fix it with 2 or 3 pages at a time until you get everything set up well enough to work. And if you're that worried about the uninsured people in this country, then if we started actually doing something to lower the cost of insurance and lower the cost of health care, we wouldn't have uninsured people anymore. But we can't actually have a government that fixes anything because nobody wants to fix anything because they don't need us if they fix it. This is exactly what I knew was going to happen with Trump. Once he won, I was hoping against hope that he was actually going to be the guy that was going to go in there and fight for the little guy like he said he was going to do. But it's going to be nothing but business as usual in D.C. for the next 4 years until the Republicans continue to fall on their face, say, well, we can't fix this after all. 4 years later, everybody's going to be mad. They're going to turn it back over to the Democrats. They're going to be, well, we can't fix this after all. 4 to 8 years after that, they'll turn it back over to the Republicans. Oh, sorry, we can't fix this after all. I know we said we could. Until somebody finally just decides we've had enough. I'm already there. I don't know about anybody else, but I've about had it.
Yeah, it's listening to people like Newt Gingrich, listening to people like Sean Hannity. I mean, Sean Hannity tonight literally was saying, do not blame Trump for this. No, you don't get that. You don't get to do that. This is your deal. This is who you pushed You don't get to do this, Sean. It's ridiculous to me. I watched him. Why I do this to myself, I don't know. But I watched Sean Hannity tonight, and he leads off with saying that the GOP representation really screwed this up, and you can't blame Trump for this. Trump got behind it. Trump absolutely embraced it, and you can't do this, Sean. You were behind Trump. Trump said he ran on appealing Obamacare just like everybody in the House and Senate, and you don't get to do that. You don't get to sit back and say Trump has nothing to do with this. They all do. It's a mess. It needs to go away. The end. Repeal it.
No, exactly. I mean, I can't really put it any better than that. All right, well, we are officially out of time, and I know you said you wanted to stop as close to the 1 a.m. hour as possible because I know you got to get up early, and so do I. So I'm assuming I think you have most of your contact information back if you want to give it out.
I do. I actually got suspended again this morning, and Twitter apologized to me this time. Imagine that. You can find me at Texas Special 1 on Twitter, and you can find me on Facebook at Daniel Wright. I'm protected, but if you want to send me a request, I will definitely consider it.
All right, and of course you can follow along with me on Twitter at AOTR_host. I also do have a professional Facebook page working again. For those of you that are confused, because yes, there is another account. I'm still working with Facebook to try to get that one deleted because I no longer have the email address that was associated with that account because it was one that used to be provided by Glenn Beck to Blaze subscribers, and that company went out of business, and I actually have managed to forget the password to that account. So instead of trying to jump through a million hoops to get back into it again, I just decided to start a new one. So if you get a friend request from Rick Robinson, no, this is not a spam account. It is actually me. So feel free to respond to the request if you should choose to do so. We can talk, we can chat, we can hang out. And that's pretty much going to do it for us for this week. I will be back tomorrow morning for the weekend review, and then I'll be back with you guys Monday night. Miss Jess, do you want to give anything out? I know you're still hanging out back there somewhere.
Yes, Rick, thank you. I'm still here. And you can follow me on Twitter at Jessie's POV. I do have a Facebook page, but I haven't been pushing it real hard, but it is Jessie's POV, and I do check in on there every couple of days. So, and if you're old-fashioned and want to shoot me an email, you can email me at jessiespov@klrnradio.com. And don't forget, almost all of the shows on our station are available on iTunes, Google Play, podcast.com, Pocket Casts, Blueberry, and any other number of places.
Amen.
Yeah, they're pretty much all over the place. All right, we're out, folks. Take care. Have a good night. God bless.